Welcome to my layout share for the pages I made during June 2026. I got quite a few done. This is just a small number of them. I'll explain more as the video goes along. I had a quite productive month and I made quite a few layouts for the Creative Memories virtual crop. So we're going to start off with some virtual crop layouts. This layout was from the June Creative Memories virtual crop, and that is a monthly sketch challenge that is on a Facebook group that you can go join, and they release the 4 sketches, and you can create a layout based on those sketches and be eligible to win some prizes. So this layout was one of the June virtual crop sketches, and I really like how it turned out. It was a 2-page layout. So I had these photos from the Universal Studios Orlando parade. And as the different vehicles come down the street with their movies, one of my favorite movies of all times is Ghostbusters, the original. So I was thrilled. Now, when I originally made this layout, in order to make the deadline, which is the Tuesday after they released the sketches, I did not have this ghost punch then, but I knew I was going to get my hands on that ghost punch and add it to this layout. And so when it finally came, I was able to put this ghost chain. It's a border maker cartridge by Creative Memories, and it was the perfect touch for this layout, and I believe this layout is definitely a candidate for one of my favorites. This is another virtual crop sketch that I made into a layout, and once again I was very happy with getting these photos onto a layout. I pulled from Copper Canyon and I think Poolside, and I don't remember where this paper comes, but I'm always mixing and matching my papers. This is the new Diamond Chain Link Border Maker cartridge, and I pulled embellishments from a variety of sticker sets, and I used the Flames and Drops punch to add these elements to my embellishment clusters. This is a peekaboo pocket where I have 2 other photos. Of course, my layouts never match the sketch exactly. I always conform the sketch to get my photos onto a layout. But I'm very happy to have this layout made and ready to go into my album. This layout also came from the Creative Memories virtual crop in June. And in the original, this border here and this bottom one were torn pieces, but I'm not big on tearing. And so I used my favorite custom border tools and made the border for the top and the bottom. And the sketch also had for another like scallop type of a border underneath. So I used my sunbeam frame border punch to create that effect. And I really like how it turned out. I was able to get photos onto a layout. And this layout was also part of the June Creative Memories virtual crop sketches. And it had this lovely little circular element up here that I enjoyed putting on. And it was a wide band and a little border element here at the bottom. And I think that the way I've made it slightly different because I always make mine slightly different. And instead of one big, like 11.5 by 11.5 mat in the back, I think I cut my paper into two pieces so I wouldn't have to use as much paper. I also used the Dine punch, which is probably my number one most used punch, and the new Spring Blooms punch. Here, here, and here. That I just love that punch. It is so great for enhancing embellishment clusters. This layout was made at one of the retreats I attended, but it was actually a base page. We were having a lot of fun, and as you know, that crisscross design is taking the scrapbooking world by storm. And so, somehow or another, that I don't remember, I think I was showing someone different ways they could make that crisscross design. And so, I ended up cutting the paper and making the standard crisscross design where you flip one over and one under. So I was trying to show two different ways you can arrange your triangles, and there's actually several ways you can arrange your triangles, but this was the classic way that everybody has been doing it, with the triangles overlapping and their straight edges at the top and the bottom of the page. But I wanted to show them a second way to do it, which is to put the straight edge here as a border and have the angled sides towards the top of the page and towards the bottom of the page. And that kind of gives this wide band look, where this is more of a frame look. So I made it as a base page, and then I came home and started looking for photos, and I was happy when I felt that these photos went very well with the papers I'd chosen to make this base page. And so I had this I Dig Dinosaurs was in a Creative Memories bundle. I think it was called Epic Adventure. And then I actually bought some stamps. I bought them on Amazon for dinosaurs. And I stamped on some craft paper these dinosaurs just using black ink. And then I cut with my dies some greenery to make some embellishment clusters. And I also cut some tags here and there to be the basis for my embellishment clusters. So I put the little dinosaur here on my journaling box, and then I made these three clusters, and it has a bit of a zigzag sort of visual triangle. I wasn't specifically going for a visual triangle, but I did want to fill this space right here. So I added another dinosaur cluster set right here under the title of Jurassic Park. And I really like how it turned out. It's very monochromatic to me, but it's more of a beige, neutral, and green than just green or green and white. But I had a lot of fun stamping my little dinosaurs here. The reason I bought the dinosaur stamp was because I knew I had several layouts that have a dinosaur theme to it, one way or another. So be on the lookout for more dinosaur layouts. I made this layout at the retreat, and when I came home, I wanted to add some extra embellishments. Now, at the retreat, I had access to a few tools that I don't personally have. One of which is this border punch down here. I don't even know the name of it, but it did these beautiful snowflakes. And the other was this beautiful punch of a deer or a reindeer. I'm not sure what it's called, but it was just perfect because my photos are from the ice exhibit, and there's been quite a few of my layouts that I've been documenting the ice exhibit and more to come. This is the Icicle Border Maker cartridge. And I punched that and this bottom border with the white shimmer paper by Creative Memories. This layout is very simple, fast, and easy. It's a strip across the top and some border punches and some shape punches to enhance my border. And it was fast and easy, and I like the results, and I love using tags, and I hope to get more into making tags like this. It was a lot of fun when you have a layout and you have your photos down and you know it still needs a little something. And for me, tags are a go-to element to put on a page anyway. And so I can see myself when I feel like playing with my crafts, but I'm not prepared to make a layout. I think I'm going to make more tags. Now, this layout, just like the layout before, also I made at the retreat. And this is once again a simple band design, a band at the top and the band at the bottom, or you can say a big wide band across the middle. And I just love these simple go-to designs, especially when you're at a crop and you're chatting and enjoying all the fun things going on around you. Simple layouts help you to get a lot of photos onto pages. And once again, when I brought it home, it still needed some decoration. And so I made 3 blue tags. Now I have several tag dies, and so that's what I was primarily using to make all of these little tags. I have some stamps. They were close to my heart stamps, and I loved pulling them out and stamping my words. And I have a few dies for snowflakes. So I enjoyed that as well. So I had a really fun time making these 3 tags, and it's great. You can kind of put the visual triangle and have your embellishment cluster sort of pre-made. So I can see me doing that again. This layout was one that was a class at the retreat I went to in April, and it was so much fun. And we were using the spring equinox set. And once again, it came home to me as a base page. And I was able to find photos to put on here. And to embellish it, I went to the purple and lavender family and played around with making more tags. I made this one with the Creative Memories bezel tag punch and some stamps that I have. And I was able to make embellishments in the purple so that I could complete this layout. And I was really happy. And so this was from a trip to Universal Studios before Epic Universe opened. And they had this display showing what was going to be coming soon. And they showed how that new park was going to be laid out. I have not had a chance to visit that park, but you can believe it's on the bucket list. And overall, I just like the layout. I like the photos with this layout that we made. And I also wanted to note that the background paper here is the Fast to Fab from the Spring Equinox collection. And that is really pretty. I am not a huge Fast to Fab person. I don't buy a lot of Faster Fab papers, but this came in a bundle, and all in all, it is so cute. I really like it. And I also like that it has the lavender and purple in it because I would like to do more lavender and purple layouts anyway. And this border punch is the Tropical Flowers chain border, and it is so cute. I really, really love this border maker cartridge, and I believe it's still available. So I made the base page of this layout at the retreat. Then I came home and I was so happy I found photos to go on the layout. And then I added a title that came from the Tropical Garden collection. And this paper is an advisor exclusive paper from Creative Memories. If you have a Creative Memories advisor that you order from, you can get it from that person. If you don't, I'm a Creative Memories advisor. And I got my photos on here, and I had this empty place in the center. And I took the scallop shell and made the petals, the embossed leaves here, and then the center of the flower with the blooms punch. And I used shimmer paper for all of these. If you have an embossing punch from Creative Memories and you use it with the shimmer papers, the embossing really stands out beautifully. So I found that this paper was very busy and this paper was very bright. And I was a little concerned I wasn't going to find photos to go on it. So I was thrilled when I found these tropical flowers that go beautifully on the paper. And so I came home and turned this base paper into a finished layout. So we were playing around after we made that previous layout, and we said, okay, who can make a scrapbook page with the leftovers? Some of the most beautiful layouts were made. This one was my piece of fun, and I just took the old crisscross. I guess that crisscross design is on my brain, and many of them, they actually do have a little scallop edge or something that goes with a lot of them. I don't always put them on, but I did this time. And then I just made a notched banner out of that little piece that was left up there, and I had all this space left over. So when I came home, I was searching for photos to put on this page, and I was a little concerned because this paper, the background is very bright, more bright than I typically use. And then the butterflies are a motif that I don't use very often either. So I was a little concerned, but I did find photos that I enjoyed putting on them. This is the Seuss landing at the Universal Studios. And I think this was on the Island of Adventure side of the park. And in this embellishment cluster, I made this base and this banner right here with some close to my heart stamps. And I have a die that is an alphabet set that I just had the word fun. And then this is from Creative Memories. It's called the Gum Leaf Punch. And I have it here, and it doesn't show up as brightly here, but it's also there. And it's just a simple embellishment cluster. Have you been keeping up with how many times I have been using the crisscross design on a layout? Well, here is one more. And in this layout, I made it as a base page at the retreat. I think I was winding down with the retreat, and I had a few scraps on the table. And I said, well, just make something with what you have. And that's what I did. It came home as a base page. And I was thrilled that I finally got this layout made. This layout is from a project of older photos that I've been trying to work on, and I'm coming close to completing it. So I'm trying to make an effort to really put some time on that particular project and closing it out. And it's the crisscross design. So here's a quiz. How many layouts have a crisscross design on it this month? I made this layout at the retreat, and I come home with these layouts partially done. This one came home needing a title, and I finally got my title put on here. And this is using the Global Getaway paper and the Follow the Trails Border Maker cartridge punch, which came in one of the secret boxes. And what I do with an album as I'm working on it, I save the title page for last. I make it as the last layout that I complete. What I do when I'm making the album is as I'm making layouts, I sometimes just have photos that don't fit, and they become kind of extra photos when I make a decision to say, oh, I already have another photo that's almost just like this one. I don't need two on my page. So I'll put all those extra photos in my project setup to be used to make a collage of the album. And so, especially on my big vacation albums like this one, these are just a variety of things we saw and experienced. And I just love this. This is the regular Global Getaways designer paper pack, and I love it. So these are just random photos. They were kind of leftovers from all the other layouts in the album. And this is what I wanted my title page to say. And each one of these photos bring back some memory. And that's how I do my page. I really love this compass motif. I thought it was just perfect, and perfect to be on my title page. Now, before I get to my final layout that I'm showing in this video, I actually made an additional 13 layouts during the month of June because I participated in the Memories Matter fundraiser for Alzheimer's. And I'm going to include a link for that worthy cause. And it's not too late to join. It is going through August of 2026. And it is a fundraiser for Alzheimer's in the United States and in Canada. And I believe I have some viewers from Australia. And I want to let you know that they are seeking to get a partnership with a similar organization in Australia to be an Australia benefactor for fundraising for Alzheimer's. The way it works is that you use this specific link. So you use the US link or the Canadian link, and you make a minimum donation of $35. And then the host, who is Nicole, and I'll have her link to her, will grant you the entry to the Facebook group. 100% of your donation goes to those Alzheimer's foundations. And 15 of Creative Memory's biggest creators contribute their time and contribute a layout, a sketch, and a video to the Memories Matter event. And they had it on June 20th this year. And I think this is the day for Alzheimer's fundraising. It's called the longest day. So if you use the proper link to make the donation, a minimum of $35, then you can get access to see the videos and get the sketches. Also, if you like quilts, quilts was a big thing in terms of the scrapbook layouts and design. So A lot of the designs this year had a quilting theme or quilting style to them. And I will also say this, if you go into them for the 2026 layouts, give them a try. I looked at some of them and went, oh, this looks so hard. It's so complicated. It was not. I did have to slow down a little bit on a couple of them and pay attention to what I was doing. But I was so glad when I did. I have layouts. I cannot wait to repeat a few of them and would encourage you to go for this worthy cause. And now, one more important point. Once you get inside of the group, if you really love it, Nicole has an avenue for you to also see the 2025 layouts by making an additional donation. It can't be bundled in the same one, but reach out to either Nicole or me, and I'll point you to the right direction if you're interested. And I did 13 of the 15 layouts, and if you really want to see them, they're posted in that Facebook group. And now to my last layout. I made this layout while attending a crop on Zoom. And it was a lovely time. About every other month, my upline Beth over at Save the Photos with Beth, I'll link her YouTube channel. She has a Zoom crop. And so she offered up that we work on the Hydrangea Haven project recipe. And I made this. This is the Hydrangea Haven project recipe. It has more photos than my just one single photo, but I am in a mode right now of really working on my single photo layouts. And so that's what I've been emphasizing and trying to work on. And so I made this layout. I was really happy with it. The Hydrangea Haven collection is still available. And here's something I learned. I bought the Hydrangea Haven bundle, and that came with a project playbook. I thought I had the project recipe. There's a difference. The project recipe is different from the project playbook. So I was able to get the project recipe in time for the Zoom crop and enjoyed making this lovely layout. I think it's really pretty. But what I used was the 2026 NSD collection because the honest truth is I'm swimming in that paper. I had an NSD event and I have quite a bit of NSD paper left over. And so I am trying to work on using it whenever the opportunity comes up. Knowing me, I did a few things differently, I'm sure, from what the project recipe called for, not the least of which was just using one single photo here. But I really liked how using this paper from the NSD collection turned out for me. I think it came out pretty nice. So what you don't see is that this is a little tiny strip here and here, and then this is a wide strip followed by a 1-inch strip here. So this looks like about a 1/4 inch strip, and one's here and one is here. These are two separate layouts. That is something that I was breaking it apart, but actually they are going to go in the album side by side because it is a chronological album, and these are both photos for May 2025, even though they are different subjects and different days. And I would have thought I would have used a different paper for this photo particularly, uh, because of the colors in the photos, but I love how it went well just as it was. And I'm really happy to getting more of the children's photos into albums. Okay, here's a quiz. How many pages used the crisscross design technique during this layout share. Thank you so much for joining me on this video today, and I hope that something has inspired you. If there are any layouts that you would like to see me make again on film, please leave me a comment. Also, a reminder to check out the Memories Matter fundraiser for Alzheimer's, and please give this video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And YouTube is going to recommend another video for you to watch. I hope you'll watch it and have a fine, scrappy day.